Live on set.
Live on the set right now.
Live on the set.
Actually, hold on. Pause. We got Scott Douglas to do an intro. I can't even say that. Hold on. What's most important, look at this. Look at this right here. All right, secondly, we got Scott Douglas to serenade us with an intro. Here it is.
Welcome to Ryan Anderson's Tire Talk, the only podcast that brings you the latest highlights and behind-the-scenes updates every week, directly from the son of a digger himself. Here he is, Monster Jam World Finals champion, Ryan Anderson.
Now that you heard that, I mean, obviously, I'm pumped up. Nobody else has even heard it.
Yeah, we have
I love it.
He told you to look at this, and we were like, "What are we looking at?"
Yeah, I have a feeling right now. I don't know why I'm just blabbering out about it, but I have a feeling it's going to be the best one yet because none of us are in the mood for it right now.
They had to drag me on set.
Okay, so obviously the freaking elephant in the room is Chuck. He's here for how many years? How many years of driving is it this
35 years.
That's ridiculous. I'm 32, Chuck.
I'm 25.
And I'm the old.
I'm not saying my age.
Listen, we should do that. I want everybody that's watching this to guess Bari's age and put it in the comments.
There we go.
for
sure.
Fair enough. Because you're going to be wrong.
Yeah,
You will be wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of a giveaway now, though.
No.
That's still, they're still not gonna be right about it.
Nope.
But we're gonna I'm gonna splash over. This is a video podcast, so like if you're listening, just listening, it's okay. We'll try our best to explain everything, but tons of video on the YouTube, and I'm gonna just pile this thing up with Excalibur, Gravedigger 7. That was one of my favorites about Chuck. He drove Gravedigger 7, and God, was it good.
That
man.
was fun.
It changed his driving style has never changed since. Everything. Gravedigger 7 is super short wheelbase. It was freaking kick ass, dude. Well, it is my favorite Gravedigger. It was if I could go back and drive any of them. Grandma would be pretty sweet, but 7 would be the one.
Yeah.
But I mean, so we got you on Tire Talk. Chuck probably doesn't even know what this is. But we're excited about it. You and Jim Comer were the only ones requested. We asked him every time, who do you want on? Chuck and Jim.
They even requested Jim after Jim was on.
We want Jim again.
But-
More Jim.
I want to get into you coming out this year after sitting 2 years or what 2 years,
Yeah.
and just absolutely making us look like idiots. I've been perfecting the bicycle for like literally 4 or 5 years now. And your first attempt ever was probably one of the top 5.
It was long overdue. I mean, I always knew I could do it. It's like I've saved the truck so many times in racing and whatnot, and over the downtime, I had a lot of time with Chucky. We created a nice little vehicle. We call it the Ace of Spades.
Nice.
It's basically out of a quad, and so we made a ramp, basically a log, some ramps. Dropping the thing off, doing moonwalks with it, bicycles, you can drive the thing. And of course, he drives the thing a quarter the amount of time, and it's still better than me. I mean, it's like, but he pushes me, and that was basically what we were doing with all this downtime. It's like we were just out there having fun in the side yard, just killing this thing. I actually can't believe the thing is still running. Not good, but it's still running. I mean, for as much bending on the nose and smoke rolling off the thing, it still runs.
Chuck is like he can invent things like crazy.
You need to show him a picture of this.
Yeah, you got to see. Well, I'm gonna have video of that thing rolling with him and Little Chuck just wearing it out. But like, I remember back in the day, you had a Suzuki Samurai. Did you have the Geo motor in it? I know you made your own turbo manifold.
I did.
All kinds of stuff. Like, my first vehicle was a
about
Samurai.
that stuff.
Yeah, my first vehicle was a Samurai, and then I found out Chuck had one with a turbo. I was like, oh my god! It was so awesome.
And it was too big of a turbo. It was great. It was nice, lightweight, little. I mean, they weigh nothing, and of course I had to put a locker in the rear end too. That thing would sit there and do donuts. Oh gosh! But yeah, I put a turbo off of a Thunderbird turbo coupe, so it was a big turbo, too big a turbo, because it was off of a 2.3, and this is a little 1.3. So it had a little lag to it. But man, when it came on, it was like hitting nitrous. All of a sudden that thing, it was just crazy. And gosh, we had so much fun with that thing. Yeah. But I was always creative. It's like, I just looked through my phone earlier, and one of the funniest things, I'll just put this on. When I was a kid, everyone had big street trucks. And I worked at my brother's welding fabrication shop, which is welding, and so I'd finish my paper out, and actually, that's when I was riding by the Excalibur guys, and I would go to the shop. Well, I couldn't drive yet. So I tore my bike apart and actually welded this thing. It's really tall. It's crazy. I'll send you a picture so you can.
Yeah, I'll post it on
because
there.
it's. I was going through my phone. It's like, oh my gosh, there we go. That's a classic. You know, if I still had that thing. But yeah, it was just that's what I always did. I always had mini bikes, go karts. You know, anything with a motor.
Crown Vic.
Yeah, I was about to say Crown Vic.
I even had my other brother had built what was called a pedal car. So it was it was basically a car. You had a steering wheel, but you pedals, and it had banana seats. And I used to take those and do bicycles with it. The bicycle, and I was like, shit, I was doing this. I was doing this stuff before this was even a thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's why they requested Charlie.
I have now come to realization on something though. You just told that story in all epicness of what it was, and I have came to the conclusion that any legend in history of life started with a paper route. Like literally.
Yeah, I
I feel like I need to go. I gotta get on one. I've never done it.
Honestly, our lives are gonna suck.
Yeah.
Because we didn't do a paper route. I'm telling you.
Well, what?
Took me places, man.
So everybody knows like Excalibur is probably one of the most legendary retro trucks, and I love the dual shackled leaf spring setup that was like the epitome of the best working leaf spring monster truck there ever was. Like super kick ass.
That was number 2. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, give us a quick rundown. I'm actually gonna make sure my camera's still recording, but give us a quick rundown of Excalibur from your start to Gravedigger, basically.
Oh, now you're gonna make sure.
I'm
you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
He's gonna have me keep going, but yet so it's pointless to keep going.
if it's not
good,
working.
it's good.
Okay, so now.
We had technical difficulties last time.
Yeah. I apologize, everybody. My camera cut off last time. I'm just making sure it's not doing it this time. All right, so back on track now.
So back on track. So they were basically building the first Excalibur. I was riding by. I still had a paper out. I rode by their place. They're building this thing in their backyard in a little one-car garage. They'd roll the stuff out and start erecting it in the backyard. And they'd come over to the welding shop and get stuff done once in a while. So I just kept checking in on them. So I get this thing done, get it rolling, and after a few years, they start out with 5 tons, and they learn real fast. You know, you're
Not gonna hold up.
you're blowing axle shafts left and right, and so then they got the planetaries, got the Clark planetaries on them. That's kind of when I stepped in. They were going to some show, actually Richmond, Virginia. Dave was going there, and he's like, "Hey, you want to go along? Can use some help?" It's like, "Yeah, I'll go." Went there. Of course, back then, we big VHS. We're recording everything. He goes, "Here, record this for me." It's like, okay, cool. Virginia Giant was there, Don Maple, Samson, and they're all out there and they're climbing up the cars, smashing stuff. Dave comes out there, he lines up, he backs up, and I'm like, okay, that's pretty far, and he's backing up more. All of a sudden, I'm like, what is he doing? He nails it, floorboards it, shifts, hit these things. 4 cars, cleared 4 cars, nosedived it, bent the front housing, and the crowd goes wild. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like, I got goosebumps. It's like, I'm like, this is cool. It's like,
I need to try to find that video.
I think I may have some of that. But it's
VHS.
just,
I'm gonna have to transfer it over, Chuck.
yeah. But I mean, that was the point where it's like, this is cool. It's like anytime you guys, it's like, I'd like to go. And then actually, the big one was when then Mike Nickel tried to float it in a quarry.
I wanted to ask you about that.
So
you got to see the video of this. This is ridiculous. It was so pristine. Have you seen this, Tig? They tried to float Excalibur,
so.
and
So
you just go ahead.
So this is after. It was kind of funny in a way because they did a photo shot out the quarry with it, and then Dave left, and Mike was like, Mike had already broke his back in the truck. It wasn't lashed up, and he broke his back, and so he's like, let's see if this thing will float. What the heck? We've got it here. It's tired up. Let's see if it'll float. So he drives it down the beach, puts the front in the water, and it goes down to where it's like, nah, it didn't seem like it really wanted to come up all that weight in the front. So he's like, all right, let's back it up. So backs it in, back end pops up. Oh, that's cool. So he backs in a little further. As soon as those front tires couldn't touch anymore, whoop.
You've never seen this?
I think I've seen pictures of the aftermath.
The passenger guy jumped out, and actually, as it was going under, Mike was actually forced out of the cab through the window from the water pressure coming through.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
So that was the day I heard about it. So I drove over there and they were dragging it up the beach, flipping it over, and then Mike came over to me and goes, "Chuck, you need to come help me." And that was basically the day I was hired. So
Really?
from that point, I always say thanks, Mike, because of your creativity.
If I'm not mistaken, there's a pretty good picture of it upside down, and it's like crystal clear water.
Yeah,
and like the truck is, I mean, you can see
spring-fed
it.
water. Yeah, it was spring-fed quarry, and it's beautiful. Actually, that is what one of the scuba divers said when they were out there. He goes, "That's the prettiest thing I've ever seen in my life."
The truck was pristine.
It was.
Like everything was just right, chromed out. Paint was prime. Like it was good, and it just.
It was pretty
and
cool.
it went fast too. It was pretty scary.
It
really.
was. It was.
What'd you guys end up doing with it then?
Well, so from there, I mean, basically it was just a matter of pulling the motor out, getting up, and I vividly remember standing there a week later, after we had the whole thing together, and all of a sudden the truck had great big mirrors on them. We used them, and all of a sudden sand just starts pouring out of the backside of this thing. It finally dried up enough, and sand's just running out of the backside of this mirror.
Did it not damage the body? How did they flip it over?
It kinked it a little bit. I mean, they did a good job, and finally Dave rolled it the one time, and so we had to get the new body, and that was so it went from a 79 to the 87 body, and I really like the 87 that body on it, the paint job and stuff. It just the truck was tough looking. The big Firestones, the 66 Firestones, man, those things
Squared
just
off.
square body. Yeah, it was just I just loved that truck. It was fun to drive. I mean, you could mow down anything. Thunder Nationals, you broadside the side of a car, and it would just mow the thing down. You didn't. Don't worry about it. It's like, and it was always best just to clear the cars. Don't land on the car. It was like you just. Greatest thing, I love that truck too, was we had a Profab in it, and you could put the thing in 2-wheel drive.
Oh, yeah, in and out.
In and out.
Nice.
Deal Wilson and I used to do flat drags in the Thunder Nationals. Used to sit there, go back and forth, just like a wow. And we had proportioning valves, so we'd turn the front brakes up and just sit there and go, wow.
Heck yeah.
And then we back up.
I've never seen the video of that.
Oh,
That's sweet.
It's so cool. Just, there's nothing like seeing a 66 sitting there, frying the tire off, smoke just rolling off the thing with the big old square body.
I got to try to find. So
Yeah.
my one buddy, Josh Rhodes, what's his podcast he does? Retro Monster
Retro Monster Truck Review. I think.
Retro Monster Truck Review. Josh, I'm gonna need your help. We need that
He
video.
would be the guy.
He
Try to
really-
find it.
Every video.
Every old school thing that I need, I'm like, Josh, I need help.
Dig. Old Dig, man.
Old Dig.
Yep, Dig.
What about number 2? You said was the dual shackled leaf spring.
So yeah, Dave Marquardt was great. He worked on the CAD. He was he actually designed the first truck. It was the first truck ever designed, computer aided design truck. No matter what somebody else would say. Bob Jim.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to have them on here just to give them shit. Bigfoot. Yeah, let's call them out.
So yeah, Dave was definitely first. I mean, I've got full blueprints of the first truck even the second truck. It was cool that he would come into the shop and lay something down like the shackles and stuff with a blueprint and go, here, this is what we need to build. 8 of these today. It's like, that's cool, but why does it have this like it's 5.48753? It's like it went on to. He goes, don't mind those extra numbers there. It was just kind of like the computer
Get it
spit out
close,
there.
yeah.
It's like so I can round this off. Yeah, that's fine.
I didn't know they were designed, especially even the first
Right?
one. That's pretty sweet. I'd like to see that drawn.
That's the guy that you brought to Toledo, right?
So there was Dave Marquardt and Mike Nickel. Mike Nickel is the one. Yeah. Mike's still with us, and he's still a part of putting the Excalibur history out there.
Yep.
And
awesome.
So I went from that. We had both trucks going out at the same time. I was driving the one, Dave was campaigning the other one, and I actually put the first one into a wall. Throttle stuck onto me in Albany, Georgia, and it went through a wall.
Just toasted it?
I'll give you a picture of that.
Yeah.
It's pretty much priceless. And I actually thought, all right, you're done. You're done. I mean, I was inside the cab when it was going on, throttle stuck. I'm like, oh my gosh! It's like I put my foot on the brake and I took the shifter and I jammed it all the way into park, and I closed my eyes. I was like, you're not,
not gonna make it.
and it hit the wall and everything folded in on me. When it stopped, the wall was here on me. It had folded the dash down. It had my knees pinned down.
God dang.
My one foot was stuck basically on the brake pedal. It kind of messed up my toe. But yeah, and the steering wheel was down across, had me pinned in.
Dang.
Alan Pizzo was there. He was actually looking down and it's like trying to help me. It took him 20 minutes to pull me out, actually up the wall and get the jaws of life and actually extricate me from. So that was bad. Next weekend, they gave me the new truck and they're like, here, sent me on my way. So all of a sudden it's like totally different. You went from a truck that weighed.
Check my sound. I'm getting nervous about one thing. Keep going though.
You went from a truck that weighed almost 15,000 pounds that would mow the cars down to a truck that weighed 12.8. That when you hit the cars, all of a sudden, especially in a Thunder Nationals, you hit the cars and it would throw you one way or the other. So we wiped out so many rims, tires. You land on the side and the tire would just cut through, or the rim would cut through the tire. Yeah. So, but just Aaron Polburn, our announcer with Thunder National, he was great. I worked for Mike and Dave. I worked for them for 7 years, and then went in. Ended up buying the second truck with Tim Bush. Tim Bush and I went into and bought the second truck. And so we ran another 4 years together, campaigned it, did all the Thunder National shows, and just killing it there in the Thunder National shows. I mean, we would do one of the greatest things, going against Mike Vaughters and Black Stallion. It's like him and I would have big air wars in these little places, and it was great. The one time Aaron got done with the show because Mike Vaughters went out there and just skied it, and I'm like backing up to hit the hockey arena wall, and let it eat, and got big air, and Aaron's like, boys, come to my office, we need to have a talk. That was a great show. I don't ever want to see it again. I don't ever want to see that happen again. Yeah, so it's like that's kind of like when you knew you were doing a good job. It's like if they you scared the crap out of the promoter, you knew you were doing a good job.
What was Big Air then? Like what would you consider Big Air?
Big Air,
that show.
I mean we would have 5 cars in an arena and clear them, and I could clear them in reverse. I would clear them in reverse.
That's awesome.
But it's probably like actually boosting off the car with leaf springs and all that.
Oh yeah.
Seat bounce on this.
Well, you've got no. I mean, limited suspension. I mean, we had the second truck had 18 inches of travel. It had custers on it.
That thing was sweet, man. I want to get. I'm trying to find some good video of like actually showing it work because it was like legit.
It was like a spider. It was it was crazy because the leaf springs were 4 inches wide. They were narrow and they were inside the frame and double shackled. So they were in there. They were just doing their job. It was and they kind of acted like a sway bar to a point, but it still had so much travel, it would still act almost like a spider effect.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest things that I did with Aaron was I'd do donuts. So I do these Cyclone donuts. And one time I was like, you know what? I'm in here sitting around and I'm just not doing anything anyways. I bet I can pull the steering wheel off and do this. So I'd pull the steering wheel off as I'm doing it and hang it out the window. Well, then it was like, then the challenge was, you know what? I could probably do this from a dead stop, So I pull the steering wheel off. I'd come into place. They already knew me, the crowd, and they were like, yeah, it's like, so I'd come in, set the truck up, come to a complete stop, pull the steering wheel off, hang it out the window, and just trounce it. And it was a Turbo 400 then, so just
First,
let
second,
it eat.
third?
It was first, and I wouldn't shift till I heard the rev limiter. And just let that thing eat. Yeah.
What year was this again?
All of them.
I mean, we came out, that truck debuted in 90. I was really doing that probably about 1993.
So still before I was born.
That was before I was born.
Yeah, before I was born. Yeah.
That's why they're like, huh?
No, but yes, but no.
I got a yearbook, souvenir yearbook, Excalibur on the cover. It was probably 91, 92.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was like you were the king. Thunder Nationals. Thunder Nationals had its own yearbook.
Right. Yeah. They were branched off from United States Hot Rod Association, but they were their own deal.
Yeah. So back in the day, you keep hearing Thunder Nationals. If you're not familiar with that, back in the day there was a whole separate series in arenas that were non-dirt, just cars. That was it. It was a whole thing on it, and like basically him and a couple other guys, they just did that tour basically only. You know, it was pretty sweet. I don't even know. For the longest time, they didn't do any arenas with dirt, right?
Yeah.
It was just all Thunder Nationals, basically.
It was all non-dirt.
It was sweet though. Like, I mean, monster trucks on concrete is kind of a weird thing. Like, it's
horrible,
like,
actually.
yeah, it's like
He's not going to church it up.
It feels like it's gonna, like, you know, hike up and flip, and then the next, you know, 1 foot later, it's like you're on ice. Like, you never know. And then if you flip on asphalt, it seems like it gains speed. I watched Chuck do something.
Dude, the wheelie?
Cue the video. Yeah. Did a wheelie with Gravedigger. I can't even remember. It was a slap wheelie.
He
got slapped.
it was so good.
He got his alarm's going off. There's someone with old guys and their alarms.
Yeah, not me. You reminded me of that guy at the airport last week, just really pissing us off.
I think we might have got Siri going.
No, it's not.
It's not me.
Oh, I don't know what it is. Somebody's recording
Is there
this.
someone in my ass?
I don't know. But so Chuck does, I think it was a slap wheelie in an arena on
First
concrete.
of all, slap wheelie. Let's just back up. Slap wheelie in an arena.
Yeah.
On concrete.
On concrete. But it rips it so hard, it flips up past the tires, past the wheelie bar, and it's on the body mount we call the rear
It was
handle.
the wheelie bar.
It was-
It was the
Skid
little
on the
wheelie bar. That's
Yeah.
what it rode on.
Oh, it didn't hit the bar in the back?
No, it was
So
on
it
the
just
wheelie
balanced.
Bar. Oh, it was balanced. Perfect.
But it went a long way.
It was like it gained speed.
No brakes.
So, yeah. It went down. It's like, next thing you know, I'm tooling along. I'm like, oh gosh. So I'm like going for reverse.
It's reliving it.
Tyson is in my head, and he's going, stop. Oh God, you can't stop. Hang on. And yeah, this thing traveled all the way across it, and of course they had all the trucks parked, and it went right in between them. Of course, and just landed.
Locked in there.
You couldn't have parked it
Is
in.
that Cam McQueen that you hit? I think it might have been. I'm trying to remember.
I think so.
This is so
That's
good,
even
though.
better.
I
It makes it even better
yeah.
this game.
Probably favorite freaking recent.
Yeah.
Because that was like, what, 5 years ago probably?
It's
longer
more
than
than
that.
longer
Longer than that.
Yeah.
Something
But
like
it seems like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was pretty sweet. And then what year did you actually start driving Gravedigger? And was it 7 was your first one, right?
No, it's actually 8.
Okay.
It was 8.
Oh, okay, yeah. I
It was
remember.
actually 8. I'd have to look it up now. You put me on the spot.
Sorry, dude.
But,
I should know. I'm freaking should be telling
This is
everybody
a
else.
walking Gravedigger thesaurus.
Yeah, you're basically
Thesaurus.
97.
There's one video of you at a speedway, and it may be Nova Scotia. Cause I'm just thinking it because I'm trying to remember back in the video, but I think it was an asphalt speedway, no dirt, but you were in 7 just freaking wheeling down the place, like over everything. Nothing stood a chance. Gravedigger 7 on the back tires.
You got, well, of course, between 8. It's like I was in 8 first. I called your dad up. I said, hey, let me know. How do I drive this thing? And he's like, he's telling me, you just sit there. You think of power. You'll do wheelies right off from the stand. That's like cool. That sounds cool. It's like, yeah, you just power brake that thing up, and you just it'll snag it right up. And I was like, cool. So I'm like, excellent. So I get out there, and what do? I'm like, cool. You're driving a Gravedigger truck, and I got to find the one picture too. I was at some show with Excalibur too, and there's one time I climbed up into the truck because it was in the back, and I'm like sitting in it. It's like, how cool would it be to drive this thing? How cool! And there's a picture of me somewhere I got to find it of me climbing out of it.
Elf Digger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's sweet.
so end up driving number 8 right off the bat. Mike Wales called me up. He's the one that went through me, and he said, hey, why don't you come drive a truck for us? Da-da-da. And I was like, cool. So he's there at the show, first show. I go out. I called Dennis up, and got the lowdown from him. So I go out there, line up, power brake that thing up, and just snap it up right up. Hit second gear, just tooling along, bouncing across these moguls. I set it down at the end of the arena. It's like, oh gosh, that was so cool. So what do? I'm going to do that again.
Heck
I'm going to
yeah.
do it again. So I went right back around and did the exact same thing and just tooled it. Yeah, Mike Wales goes, I can see you're going to be hard on training.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares? That's just
Gravedigger
cool.
8, I'll post the picture now. It's actually the one that's at the Cedar Fair that travels around to different theme parks. We restored the thing, repowder coated it, put a new body on it. It's looking freaking
Cool.
awesome.
Cool.
But that was Chuck's first truck. It was a coilover.
Yeah.
Single shock, short wheelbase. So, I mean, there was a time with the truck setups were so drastically different that some trucks were super long, set up for more straight line racing. Some of them were super short, set up for just basically screwing off, which is my dad's trucks.
This is what Tig is going to do.
Yeah,
exactly.
So Gravedigger
such a good
8
job
and
at it.
7 was short, and they would just rip wheelies from the start.
Yeah.
Like, it was awesome. It was
Yeah.
That's why I want to drive 7 so bad. Like,
Yeah.
just instant wheelie.
So fun. So fun.
Yeah.
Spend more time on the rear tires than anything else.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is like, you are the king of slap wheelies. I
Oh,
don't care
yeah.
if it's muddy out, if you're on concrete, slap wheelies.
I
for
swear,
days.
I think it's because of after driving Digger, you were like those two were just wheelie machines.
Oh, it
and, like,
was. Yeah.
From then on, it seems like he's always been on the back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got him addicted.
It did.
It's a hard one to break, Chuck.
Yeah,
It's a hard
it
one to
is.
break. We've tried to check him in a few times out of the wheelie AA, and it just never worked out.
I'm next.
yeah. He gets
I
on
know.
too. But
Yeah.
we gotta talk a little bit about what's going on too. We are in Glendale, Arizona. One of my favorite places. This stadium is awesome. It's freaking massive.
Yeah.
We are 35 minutes from pit party starting. Perfect. It's way better than last weekend.
Yeah.
We had to cut it short. But we've already recapped everything that's going on with us. Last weekend was a killer weekend for me and Tyler. Tyler didn't have that much luck on the first night, but the second night killed it. We got the biggest air of the year so far for our tour. It was freaking awesome. But what happened with you?
I had a decent night the first night, and then the second night I was really I was wanting to burn it down in freestyle, and I had a good run going, and then I hit the single log, and it was steeper than the first Houston.
Yeah, yep.
And it just kind of caught me off guard, and I knew as soon as I left the ground, I'm like, this isn't going to be good. So it landed on the rear tires, broke the Heim joint on the tie bar, and it was just, when it does that, you think, it's just that.
Right.
No,
You're hoping.
Howie called me during the week. He's like, yeah, you sheared the kingpin bolts off.
He said
and
spindles.
and
Yeah.
spindles are
He spent
bent.
the spindle
bent
is
the
like-
rim.
Yeah,
Just
when you
one
see,
jump.
I'll show the video, so you're watching the video, you can see what happens, but basically he jumped straight up in the air, like nose straight in the air, landed back tires only, and it's the 4-link suspension is meant to go with the length of the truck. When you're straight up and down, the 4-link is straight in the ground.
It doesn't
so
work.
no
Doesn't
suspension
work.
whatsoever. All it's relying on is the tire,
Yeah.
and then once that bottoms the tire out and it's still got more to go, it starts breaking parts.
Yeah.
He broke the rear tie bar, kicks the rear tires in, and
Yeah.
when it does that, it slaps everything. It's rough on the knuckles,
Yeah.
the axle shafts, wheels, the rims, and all that stuff. And it's another one of those things we talked about a little bit last week, and it's one of those things we get shut down for.
Yeah.
The tech officials shut you right down. It's,
Safety.
It's weird. It's one of those things, like I said last week, and it's like we want to keep going. I think we should still keep going, but it's it's hard to
Usually
argue with
doesn't
safety.
end well.
Yeah. It's not going to say it's going to be awesome, but there is a chance.
We had a wild event though leading up to that. Like I think we made it to the semis racing you, and I felt like we were right together. I just felt like, all right,
I think I had came back at the end to that's what somebody said, that you had me into the very last turn.
Well, it was just the first turn. I didn't make it through it.
Oh.
I hiked up.
Who did I have a comeback? It was you. I came back on.
That was
I think it was. Somebody was telling me that was a hell of a comeback. Like that was behind.
That was
But yeah, you tore stuff up. in racing.
Yeah, it was
that's
like
right. That's right.
It was a simple rollover. Like I saved it, but then they shut me off because I was probably running out of room. So it just kind of leaned over, and that's the one thing about the zombie arms is they cushion your rollover. If it's a slow rollover, it's like, all right, saves the body a little bit. So rolled me over. They go to fire me back up, go out, and it won't move. I'm like, oh man, what's going on? Like it just was working fine, and it shouldn't have broke, but it broke a planetary. So to go about, they actually picked my truck up with both loaders, and we went out the tunnel. How we fixed the planetary, had a broken axle though, so I said just button it back up. They let me go out for skills, did a slap wheelie and a bicycle. So I actually had 3-wheel drive, but I was able to do the bicycle on the side that had drive. And then because if you have 3-wheel drive in these trucks, especially in the front, the brakes do not
No,
work
it
that
wants
well
to
at
spin
all.
you
It wants
around.
to spin
Yeah.
you around
Yeah.
at every moment. So you just have to keep that in your mind, like try to build your momentum gradually rather than right away. and then brought it back out. They fixed the broken axle. Thankfully, they were able to pull it out. They didn't have to pull the third member off.
Wow.
And
Lucked
yeah, it's
out on
amazing
that.
because that
That's
thing
like
was splintered.
Never.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally when you break an inner axle, it's broken in the chunk and in the center section, and then you have to pull the center section, so you got to tear down the entire front end, like disassemble all the way. It sucks.
Yeah.
So he got lucky.
We got lucky. Came out for freestyle, and then we had a good run going, but that's when we broke the tie rod in the back.
Yeah. Camden, he got a little wild last weekend. He definitely got the world record for damage last weekend. Not only in an RC car, but also the real monster car.
We need to show him your RC car.
Yeah, he's never really, he's had RC cars, but he's never had one like legit one like we have these Locies now. And man, he is. Not only has everybody basically taken a hit at him with their RC car,
Literally.
he body slammed his RC car on top of his from like literally like 10 or 15 foot up. Dead centered, it was bad. His custom one-off Bakugan body that's really probably worth like $400.
Down.
Dead. Gone forever.
Yeah, definitely hasn't been a full-time rook when it comes to the RC. But no, I had another rook moment apparently when it came to freestyle. I was just trying to be smart, just trying to kind of have a little clean run, get to the backflip, and I will say though, Tyler definitely set the bar. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, all right, well, we kind of got to try some wild things, and well, I tried a little cross thread, and it was a little too much of a cross thread. The right rear tire decided to pop the ramp and hit a little nose dive into the center pile.
Yeah, faced into the other ramp.
Yeah.
It was, and it cornered it, so it just like it basically took it out at the knees. Just
hit the whole housing out, which unfortunately I guess I've gotten the nickname a couple times. I've heard of the housing killer already. So
he's pretty good at it.
Yeah, but the thing is though, is the housings get ripped out of the truck. I don't actually break the housing itself.
Yeah.
Which I say that, and it's
You're
going to
trying to
happen
save it?
tonight.
You're trying to make it sound better.
Right. just let me have this moment, Charlie. All right, just let me have it.
Cue the video.
Yeah. No, it's ran a couple times. Yeah.
Watch this.
Now, what about you, Chuck? So we've been
did.
recapping you already. Your craziness in Oakland, the housings you slayed.
Yeah.
That was inferior products.
Yeah.
Inferior.
No, you're coming up with excuses. Come on.
But last weekend, give us the breakdown. Chuck's been on fire in racing.
I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
You know what?
see, that's what happens when you've been around enough. You
Made the
forget.
finals against you.
Yeah. Chuck's been on fire racing, and I actually was saying it to him the other day. Like when I line up against, like, especially when I was racing my dad and Adam too and Kristen, and like basically anytime it's a digger in the other lane, I'm like all stress is off. Like whatever, if somebody's gonna beat me, I'd rather be a digger. Like basically already a win in my book. Well, I'm still giving Chuck that vibe for myself. Like when I line up against him, I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's all cool. And I'm like, no, he's not in Gravedigger no more. Get your shit together, man. But I guess you've earned it, Chuck. You've been around long enough.
Thanks.
I guess it's probably not a good thing because I'm actually relaxed and like staying calm. So it's probably not good for you, basically.
Well, it's good for him.
Yes.
Yeah. It's funny, I've got a program. I gotta go through my archives of stuff and dig it out. But I've got a program. I distinctly remember having you sign it at like one of the summits, like when you were probably 12 or 13. And it's like, I'm like, you're gonna be driving, you are definitely gonna go out there. And it's like from the time that you came out, it's like, and you came into I can't remember what year it was, but it's first year, it seemed like, or second year, you came out, and I'm in the truck going, I'm watching him, wow.
What
I'm like,
going on?
What? Are you kidding me? What?
Like my mind doesn't even work that fast.
Yeah, I can't even. Yeah, so it's great to see everybody. It's great to see where Bari came from, Camden, and Tyler. It's like that. You guys drive me, and keep driving, keep pushing me, and that was one of the things, like I said, for creating the Ace of Spades with Chucky and I. It's like I was like, all right, that's it. It's like these younger drivers, they're killing me. It's like I got to go out. I got to figure this out. It's like I'm not done dancing. It's like that was a big thing for me to kind of come out and prove this year. It's like I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm still forced to be reckoned with.
You've made it very clear, Chuck.
He did. After that first racing win in Oakland, he comes up to me and he goes, I still got it. God, it's so sneaky with it too. Like you just never know. And then here comes Chucky out of nowhere.
No, even though on our tour in 20, I mean, you won the championship. But I mean, we were in the final round almost every week.
Yeah.
And you're God.
Well, I want to get on it so I don't forget. Actually, I know I'm not going to forget, but Little Chuck.
Yeah.
Okay, so I babysat Little Chuck a few times, and basically we were out in Vegas, and I can't remember what was going on. I don't know if we were doing something, you had to do something, maybe you're going out or something, I don't know. But I was like, just leave him with me, and I was young at the time. You know, I don't think I was maybe like 15 or something like that. I don't think I even had a license yet, but Little Chuck was little. I mean, he was like 5. Okay, yeah. So
I'm pretty sure he was 5.
So I'm like already plotting in my head, like, I'm gonna convince him to let him stay with me, and we're just gonna cause ruckus. So we're just like candy, freaking soda, everything. Let's go get tattoos. So we go get fake tattoos.
Great big checker flag henna tattoo.
Yeah, we get the real henna tattoos, like the ones that last a while. Oh man, he was so excited. But
where's my son?
Yeah. We were just doing hood rap stuff with our friends, man. It was awesome. Me and Morgan were.
It was Morgan Kane.
Oh man.
But but that was just a fun little thing. What I want to get at is how insane. Little Chuck needs to get in a truck.
Yeah.
Like now.
I agree.
Because he is about to be freaking ridiculous. Like he's super quiet, super he's like a mouse. But he gets in the truck, man. It's like when he gets in anything, it's like, what the hell is this? And the Ace of Spades thing, he's like. Ridiculous, and you say he doesn't do it half as much as you, and you watch the videos, it's like he's been doing it.
Yeah.
Like I would think like he's been doing that all day long, and then got the best video. Like,
Yeah.
He's probably just one and done.
Yeah. No.
But I can't wait for him to get in the truck because it's like there's something about that, that thoroughbred freaking. That I know he's going to be ridiculous. I hope the same for like Cairo race. Hopefully, so he's already a madman.
That's
I want to see Little Chuck in the truck, man. Like seriously, anybody out there, you need a driver. Little freaking Chuck. Get your shit together.
CP3.
Yeah, you better have your shit together. Better be a good piece because he's going to be nasty, man.
He can drive it, No, I agree. It's like from day one. It's like I always had him in Power Wheels and stuff, and I've got video of him flying down the driveway, letting off on the throttle so it kind of hits the brakes, and power sliding into the grass. I'm like,
what? They're in the car. Well, you can't just. He just left the pod to go take a dump. And then he wants my rental car keys.
My pit party pants are in.
It's pit party pants. You probably just pit partied his pants.
I was
that's
gonna
why
say,
he
that's
get
why
another
he's
set.
saying.
Yeah.
We're on camera right now.
Oh, whatever.
Even better.
Whatever. He's looking for baby wipes, probably.
Dude wipes.
So Chucky, CP3. He's always been driving. Could ride a motorcycle at 4.5. I had him riding a motorcycle, and he kind of didn't like. It was like we had ended up doing quarter midget stuff, so racing there. And he was more. He actually wanted to try and take his quarter. He would. If the car wasn't set up right, I mean, you would actually two-wheel this quarter midget through the corners on 2 wheels. I'm like. It's not how you do it. But it's cool. It's cool. But he's like, I want to do that all the time. It's like, so that's just it. He's got it, and that's what he wants to do. He's always online playing,
Rigs of Rods, Beam and G. So if you're familiar with any of that, it's an online game that's like an open game source, and you can modify it all you want. And like some of these people really get into it. And Little Chuck builds his own tracks and trucks and everything. Like he's not only like insanely good at the trucks and knows them inside and out every which way and knows how they handle, but he's such a genius that he can actually code one. I cannot.
Well, he's doing 3D printing stuff too.
3D printing. He's doing all of the RC parts. He's doing his own axle housing.
I think he was made in a lab, actually.
But he's like me, super quiet though, and does he's focused on stuff. But yet you put him into something, and he can drive wheels off the thing. So looking forward to really getting him a ride.
I know.
That's my main thing. He's graduating this year. He went from a junior. He skipped his junior year, went to a senior just to graduate. Yeah. He's got all these credits. He's got college credits, and he's an honor student. But he's like, no, this is what I know what I want to do. He's focused. He went to his counselor. We talked about it, and the counselor goes, you can jump from a junior to a senior. You've got enough credits and all. You just have to take this one extra English through college online, and you're good to go. So he's like, that's what I'm doing.
I was hanging by the thread at the very end of my. I was sweating until they actually handed me the diploma, and then made sure it was right.
Sure, that's
Senioritis all the way through high school.
Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah. Yeah, Adam's graduated. He was 4 years ahead of me, so he did his high school. He was worse than me,
Was he?
honestly. Yeah. But somehow or another he made it through. I think he made it through by paying off, like being nice and paying off people, basically. But then so he kind of gave me the senioritis before I even got there. You know, I'm like, we're riding to school. Adam lost his license due to bad grades. They would take your license away in North Carolina if you got bad grades.
Oh, they really? Wait, who would?
The state.
The state
would?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so he lost his license due to bad grades. So we still whipped it. The 88 GMC regular cab. He had a sweet truck, but then once that happened, you got to be a little, got to lay low.
Yeah.
We had a single cab, long bed, 88 GMC that had like a 305 or 302, the weakest motor of all times.
305.
It would literally
yeah.
had the old speedometer that like the white was behind it.
Yeah.
It would take like 10 miles to get 85 miles an hour. Wide open. It was the worst, but it wouldn't do a burnout at all on the road, so we'd have to go off in the grass to get the tires going and then bring it back in, and it wouldn't hold it for long. But,
Wind the thing up.
yeah. But I was a little bit better in school than Adam was, but Kristen was the best one, really, and honestly, Teeny was too. He was good at being a good person, basically.
Yeah.
Me and Adam weren't.
Yeah.
Kristen was really good
He
at
watched his older brothers.
Yeah.
What not to do.
Yeah.
Right. Don't do that. That's what I did with mine too. Like my older brother. Like, oh gosh.
But this weekend's gonna be sweet. So Glendale, Arizona, like I've said, I love a lot of places, and like a lot of time, like there's so many different things, so many different places I love, but I can't deny it. This stadium is the most awesome. Like it is huge, man.
Huge.
The entire football field
Big
drives
sandbox.
out
Yeah.
on its own set of tracks and is out. So it's a live field and it stays outside, and then they wheel it in for the games, which is great for us because we don't have to worry about saving that grass.
Right.
Because if we got grass down, you gotta put the dirt in fast, take it out, and all that. Well, another good thing that happened is Supercross was just here or is getting ready to come here, one or the other. So Supercross takes a lot more dirt because it's just jump after jump after jump. Well, they brought extra dirt. Now we get the extra dirt. So the floor is extended out. There's a way larger than normal stadium size floor with a larger than normal arena size floor as well. So it's like this is the biggest platform we get anywhere else, anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
It's freaking awesome. And so the backflip ramp is like out there by itself. There's other ramps behind it. And Tyler keeps talking about wanting to look at jumping from one of those other ramps over the backflip ramp. I'm like, there's no way in hell that's going to work. And if you get, there's not quite enough room where we're at. But if you did get enough room, the jump is still so far away, you'd have to hit this one so hard that I don't think you would survive the jump, basically. I think it would nose in and be a crash and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you do try it, I already told him, it's like, if you do not try it. Because if you did try it, you would land on the backflip container, and that thing is like no joke. That's like, that would be bad. It would definitely ruin the truck. Like, we'd
Destroy
be
it.
having to ship in a backup grave digger for sure.
Kind of like worse than Camden would do.
But I'm super stoked about this place, man. I am. I'm ready for it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be
It's a
fun.
big sandbox.
Jimbo. You gotta get guest appearance.
That was last time.
Yeah, we gotta do it again though, man. The video
Yeah.
got cut off and everything, but either way. So yeah, I'm stoked about it this weekend. I know I'm gonna get crazy. I'm waiting for Bari to get one of them big old slapper. They got plenty of room in here. Last weekend he kept getting them and they kept twisting around.
Yeah.
And talk about the one. Tell us.
So the one, so it's in skills competition and how he gets on the radio and he tells me how far I can go before I got to set it down because all you're looking at is the ceiling, you know. So I'm going around, not going fast. So he goes go 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 go, and finally he says, "All right, set her down." So I set her down, and you can't really just stab the brakes when you're trying to get out of a slap wheel. You got to kind of gradually kind of just feather the brakes so the truck kind of comes down and you don't come down on the brake pedal
wanna
because then you
slap
can
it.
you can break axles and stuff like that, lock up planetary. So I did that, and upon doing that, the impact of it coming down, which is harder than you might think, it jarred my foot, my brake pedal foot, underneath the brake pedal, and I was probably like 5 feet from the wall, and I'm like, oh my God, and he's in my ear, he's getting louder and louder, stop! So finally, I stopped. It was just before
thought he was gonna hit it.
we hit the wall.
Yeah, he told me that's when I was cracking up about it, and then he went for the slap wheel again. That was on Saturday show, Sunday show at Houston. He went for it again, and it did the exact same thing. It went up, twisted a little bit. He gagged it, hit the wheelie bar again, it twisted a little bit. I was like, no, he's going to do it again.
There we go.
But I didn't have him in my ear that time because he was already out back. So he just fixed the truck.
Yeah.
It had 3-wheel drive at that point. So if you show the video, you can kind of see the front tire is spinning a lot faster than the other ones. It's because it's just freewheeling.
Yeah.
And that's the one that didn't have any drive.
That was good.
Yeah.
It's amazing you can go out there, and that's just it. That's a good driver when you can go out there with a broke truck and still make it happen. Still make and realize what you can do with it.
Yeah.
In the condition it still is in.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you have a broken axle in the front, it's like, okay, no stoppies. You know, you
Right,
can't really do
right.
it, 'cause you're not going to have brakes to that side. So.
Yeah.
I got another fun one, quick one. He was there for my very first time driving a truck. When I auditioned, I had Charlie Pauken and John Zimmer there to watch me mess up.
And he's still here, man.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
I was like, I don't know if this guy's gonna cut it. It's like,
did you mess up?
He
Well,
took
I haven't heard
a
this.
hit.
They told me, hit the back side of the race lane and do a little sky wheel. I got you. Right? Gave her a little too much beans. And hit her. Oh yeah. Ka-ka-ka! And I knocked myself out of breath.
Oh, it like slammed down.
Oh yeah.
Good
Well,
on
I
you.
came up and yeah, that was a good one. Well,
Yeah.
obviously, auditioning,
You
Not-
want to put it out there.
Yeah,
right,
you're
you're not totally
In the right, you're not
in the right gear.
Yeah. So when
necessarily.
you're auditioning at MJU, there's like a universal seat that it
Yeah.
works okay,
Works-
but it's not perfect.
it's not meant to do what
Yeah.
I did.
And then you still like if you're auditioning, you've probably never been in a monster truck,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
So you don't really understand like the procedure of getting tight and how tight you need to be and the way the gears need to be. There's a lot of little like nifty things that we do that make all the difference. And when you coming in from NASCAR, like they got all the same equipment we do, but they're prepping
Totally
for
different.
one crash, not
Right.
a constant crash.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so he was probably pretty relaxed in there. His
Yeah.
belts probably weren't that tight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
probably
Initiation.
headbutted your knees.
You're right.
Yeah.
And here, I think there's a video of it too. You just
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in my notes.
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, he showed me the notes he took and everything.
Sucks.
It's good to sit next to you, buddy.
Yeah.
He's not gonna cut it.
Well, the lasting impression that I had there, because it's cool, growing up, kind of like I had last week with Jim,
Uh-huh.
But one of the very last things you said to me was we did an interview, and it was something along the lines of like, Camden, you just had an insane freestyle set up in front of 60,000 Monster Jam fans. How do you feel? And we did an interview, and I was like, wow, that's cool. That's Charlie Pauken. That's pretty cool. And then I didn't hear anything for like 8 years. And then I was like, oh, well, that's fun.
That's over. So much for that.
Here we are, buddy,
And
old
then,
pal.
and then
Yep.
yes. No, it's been great. It's been great.
Well, I think we're about out of time, boys.
Yeah.
It's been awesome having you on, Chuck, for sure. We're going to keep
Great.
doing this as
Thank
long
you.
as you guys keep listening, keep wanting it. Let us know. You did see the huge lurch guy just walk by. He's probably going to take a poop as well. Paul. I'm trying to get Paul and Mike on. I don't know if Mike's in here, but I'm going to get these guys on too. I'm going to just keep trying to get some special guests every week. But let us know what you want to hear about. I definitely want to get a little bit more technical, but when you got somebody like Chuck in here, you can't really. We're not gonna, we got to listen about Excalibur. We got to hear about old school stories.
Yeah.
All right, so we're not gonna get too in depth on this time, obviously. So next time we get a little bit more in depth. I've seen some questions about wanting to know more about what reasons we do get shut off and why. So get into a little bit more of that kind of stuff next time. And if you got anything else, let us know. Who do you want on next? We've had Jim and Chuck on. You all made it clear. Even asked for Jim after Jim was on.
While he was on.
Made it clear you like the old guys, Chuck and Jim. We got them on, the first guest. So who do you want to see next? What do you want to hear about next? But until next week, thank you guys. This is Tire Talk.